here we are right into it. 2019 Murano. Straighten the left rear door, left quarter, and left side of the rear bumper, blending into the front door. It's a black metallic, that's why we're blending. So when I bag a car, I like to pull the bag as tight as I can and make everything tight because, the more flop and loose bag you have, it creates a little bit of turbulence, more of a dirt catcher. So the less folds you have and everything, it's less that the overspray and other stuff can collect. So less blowback when you pass it with the air. So it's pretty much cut and dry. You just bag it, cut around the tape, and then lay tape over it, and making sure to press the tape down firmly because you don't want blowing off while you're spraying, creating an overspray issue. Because nobody likes to buff. So I'll speed this up here in a second and we'll get through this because this part is pretty boring. I'll be back when it's time to wash it down. So here's me washing the car down with a wax and grease remover. This is going to be really thorough on this part because anything that you miss, it's maybe a fisheye later, more than likely. So the idea is wet it down thoroughly. You want to flood the impurities out and then wipe it down with the dry cloth. Make sure you catch all the edges. And you don't want to leave it standing wet, but it's going to leave a little bit of a film and it'll evaporate off. But it's just be thorough is the key to this. Okay, so now we're going to start tacking. So I have a blow chuck in my left hand, and then I just take I'm blowing the surfaces off, paying close attention to every single crack and crevice, of course, because that's where your dirt or any foreign material is going to come out of. So be very thorough on edges, crevices, and stuff like that. So when I tack, I hit all the edges first. I go around, catch the edges, do the field area, and I always do my loose parts first. So I'll do, anything on a stand first, and then I'll do the actual car last. And I always start with the blowing. I'll blow it, drag a tack rag with it. And then once I do the bumper, move to the car, and then I come back and I just take the tack rag and just graze over everything. Because I found that just blowing and tacking like that, right, when I go to do the car, I may be blowing some dirt back up onto the bumper. So that's why I do all the blowing and tacking first, and then I come back and then just with the tack rag and just graze everything down and catch any loose particles. So we'll speed through this and we'll move on to the next step, which looks like it's going to be sealing. And here we are onto sealing. So I always shoot it out first because sometimes, you want to just do a quick squirt because there might be some lacquer thinner left in the gun and you don't want it squirting on the car. So always catch your edges first. So, bend down, catch your edges first. Here I am getting the edge of the fuel door opening. And with the sealer, I tend to start from the bottom and work my way up. That way any falling spray will melt back in to the already wet stuff and you won't have a dry spray condition. So I have tinted sealer, really. It's just different shades of gray for better coverage. This is as dark a sealer as I get. We used to have a black sealer, don't have that anymore. We switched recently, maybe about a year ago, to a water-based sealer. Lays out nicer, and I don't get any fuzz line on the edges. You used to either have to melt your edges in or sand your edges because they would telegraph through to the final coat. With a waterborne sealer, we don't have that issue. And it dries faster. After I seal this, I'll turn the overhead fans on, and it'll flash in, depending on humidity, 3 to 5 minutes. Didn't catch that edge on the bumper. Hopefully I come back and catch that. Let's take a look. That top edge. Got the bottom. Come on, you can do this. So, that's pretty much just a medium wet coat of the sealer. And it's just get in there, get it on there and walk out. I don't want to dilly-dally. Well, I must have caught the edge. All right, so we're going out, turning the fans on. And here we are right into basing. Once again, we start with our edges. And we are using all waterborne paint. Covers really good. I wouldn't go back to solvent. Really wouldn't. So edges first. And then we'll hit the field and basing. Once again, just like the sealer, I start from the bottom, work my way up. That way it falls into the wet stuff and melts in. And it also helps the flake lay better too when it falls like that. Transfer efficiency is very important. I'm on a budget. We have budget compliance we have to maintain, so we don't want to be wasting paint, spraying it into the air. So transfer efficiency is important. So, your overlaps are very important for that. Also, I'll do the coat here. This is a medium wet coat, and then I'll let it semi-flash and come back with wet bed and do a drop coat, which will, set the flake and set my blend into the front door. Many ways to do this. In future videos. I'll, discuss the different techniques of blending. This is actually a wet on wet base. It's designed, put both your coats on at once while you're in the booth. I don't really like doing that as much because I get some splashing if you get it too wet. So I'll let it flash for a little bit. And then that's me picking out a piece of something. It might have been lint on there. But it tends to splash if you get it too wet. So I usually let it, flash maybe 50 to 70%. And then I'll come back and wet bed and do the drop coat and set the blends. So first coat, and then we'll be back here shortly with the second. Okay, so it looks like I didn't video the second coat of base going on, but I did describe it. Now we're on to clear. I'm going to do 2 coats, edges first, like in all the sealer and the base. And what I do is on the body panels, I'm going to do 2 coats. So the first coat is going to be just a medium wet coat, not looking for appearance. We just want to get a medium wet coat on. On the first coat, I work from the bottom up. It helps hold the second coat, gives me the film build. Don't want to load it up. Nobody likes runs. So this is, like I said, a medium wet coat. I work my way up on the first. The second coat, I go down. I can see it going on better when I work from top down. And second coat is the magic coat. That's where, we set our orange peel and, the pace that you're going to go. So I typically, bumper first, car first. You're supposed to do the large part first, because if you run out of clear, you want to do it on a small panel in case you have to make more clear. You don't want to be in the middle of a large job and run out of clear, because then you have to recoat everything. Edges first, once again on the bumper. And I'm going to do bumper in 1 coat, coat and a half. It's a heavy coat. Budget compliance, but film build is there, but it'll be 1 coat on the bumper. And right now, what I put on the body is actually tacking up. So I'll be able to move on to that once a bumper's done. Timing's everything on this. You don't want to get it too wet because you end up with runs, but you don't want it too dry because then you're going to end up buffing orange peel. And once again, nobody likes to buff. Typically, I do okay. I don't have to really buff for orange peel problems. I usually get the orange peel to look like the factory. Okay, so we're finishing up the bumper, and like I said, 1 coat is gonna do that, and then I'm gonna move on and finish up the body, the 3 panels on the body. Uh, so once on this, now I've already caught my edges. So I start at the top, and then I'm gonna overlap a little bit tighter on the second coat, move a little bit slower because now it's about appearance. So it's going to be a pretty wet coat, and you can see I've slowed down. I'm in closer, and I can see it better. I can set my pace because I'm at eye level. I can see how it's going on. Now as I get down lower, I've already got my pace set. How I'm walking. I walk my sides. I don't do each panel individually because you tend to get a buildup of clear on your edges. It's like a clear door edge guards. You don't want that. So I walk my edges. I walk the whole length. Uh, and here we are. Yeah, it looks like, really close. You'd think I'm going to be running the piss out of it, but not today. The job turned out really clean. It might have been one or two nibs that I had to take care of, but it was a good looking job. So, but yeah, you look and you think that boy's too close, he's gonna run it. But no, it turned out nice, no sags, and the orange peel matched the factory. And that's what you're shooting for because we want to put the car back to pre-accident condition, and so we want the orange peel to match also, color and orange peel, the whole appearance. So that's why we blend because you can't beat blending. Panel painting is a thing of the past. Anyway, thanks for watching.